viewers. In today's class, I will explain how to get an expression for effectiveness of a counterflow heat exchanger. Later, we will also obtain expressions for effectiveness of a condenser, evaporator and gas turbine when they work as a counterflow heat exchanger. Consider the fluid flow through a counterflow heat exchanger. Now, to obtain the effectiveness of a counterflow heat exchanger, let us consider a differential length at a distance x from the left hand. In this differential element, the temperature difference between the hot and cold fluid existing can be taken as theta. So theta is Th minus Tc. Now, the inlet temperature of hot fluid is Thi and outlet is Th0, and the hot fluid is flowing in the forward direction, whereas cold fluid is flowing in the reverse direction. Now the temperature difference at a distance x is taken as theta, temperature difference at the inlet is theta I, and temperature difference at the outlet is represented by theta naught. Now theta I in case of a counterflow heat exchanger is Thi minus Tc naught, and theta naught is Th0 minus Tca. Now in this differential element, let us consider the change in temperature for the hot fluid. The hot fluid temperature is decreasing, and you can find out dTh as that is differential change in temperature for the hot fluid is final temperature minus initial temperature. It is negative. Now to find out the heat lost by hot fluid, you can use the equation heat capacity of hot fluid into differential change in temperature. That will give the heat lost by the hot fluid in this differential length. So that heat lost by hot fluid in this differential length is gained by cold fluid. Whatever heat lost by hot fluid is gained by cold fluid, and that is also crossing the boundary of the heat exchanger. So heat lost by hot fluid in the differential length is temperature difference, that is incremental change in temperature for hot fluid into heat capacity. We have introduced a negative sign since dTh is negative. Next, the heat gained by cold fluid is, in this case cold fluid also, the temperature is decreasing along the length. So at the end of the element, the temperature is less compared to the starting point of the element, and the temperature difference is dTc is negative. And you can find out the heat gained by cold fluid as minus Cc dTc. Minus sign is once again introduced to make the whole term positive. Now this is also equal to the heat crossing the wall of the tube. So heat transfer through the wall is U into differential area of that element into temperature difference at that point. Here theta is varying. In this differential length, small variation is there. Since it is an incremental length, that variation in theta is neglected, and we have taken theta as a constant, and heat transfer is found by using the formula U dA theta. Now all these three quantities are equal, and we can equate that. This is the differential heat transfer in the differential length dq is equal to minus Ch dTh, which is the heat lost by hot fluid in the differential length, is equal to minus Cc dTc, which is the heat gained by cold fluid in the differential length, and is also equal to the heat crossing the wall of the heat exchanger. Again, it is in the differential length of the tube. Now we also know that temperature difference at a distance x is Th minus Tc, that temperature difference between hot and cold fluid. Now if you differentiate, you get d theta is equal to dTh minus dTc. We already obtained in the previous slide, that is differential heat flow in the differential element is minus Ch dTh is equal to minus Cc dTc is equal to U dA theta. From this equation, we can get dTh as U dA theta by minus Ch. So I am replacing dTh by minus U dA theta by Ch, and also dTc from this equation, equating these two, dTc is U dA theta by minus Cc. So U dA theta by minus Cc, so minus of minus has become plus, and you can take minus U dA theta outside, and you get 1 by Ch minus, because minus of minus you get plus, minus 1 by Cc. So we get minus U dA theta into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. So this is d theta. Now rearranging, you will get d theta by theta is equal to minus U dA into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. Integrating from inlet to outlet, integral d theta by theta is equal to integral minus u dA into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc. Now integration of 1 by theta is log theta, and when you apply the limits inlet to outlet, you get log theta naught minus log theta I, which can be written as log theta naught by theta I. On the right hand side, u, ch and cc can be assumed to be constant along the length of the heat exchanger, and you can take minus u into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc outside and integrate dA from inlet to outlet. Integration of dA from inlet to outlet is nothing but the summation of all differential areas from inlet to outlet of the heat exchanger, and that is equal to A. So summation of all differential areas is equal to A. So you will get minus UA into 1 by CH minus 1 by CC. So up to here, the derivation for LMTD of a counterflow heat exchanger and effectiveness derivation are same. Now here, theta naught by theta I, you can write it as e raised to minus UA into 1 by CH minus 1 by CC. Same equation I have written here. Now theta naught is a temperature difference at exit for a counterflow heat exchanger is Th naught minus Tci, and at inlet it is Thi minus Tc naught is equal to e raised to minus UA into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. Now here in this expression, I will replace the outlet temperature of hot and cold fluid in terms of effectiveness and inlet temperatures. From the definition for effectiveness, effectiveness is the actual heat transfer divided by maximum possible heat transfer. Actual heat transfer can be written as heat lost by hot fluid or heat gained by cold fluid. So these two expressions can be used for effectiveness of any type of heat exchanger. Actual heat lost divided by or actual heat transfer divided by maximum possible heat transfer. So in terms of hot fluid, it is heat lost by hot fluid. In terms of cold fluid, it is heat gained by cold fluid. Denominator remains same. So from this, you can solve for Th naught. Th naught can be written as Thi minus effectiveness into C minimum into Thi minus Ci divided by Ch. I am replacing Th naught from this expression, and I am writing the Th naught here. Th naught in terms of inlet temperature of hot fluid and effectiveness and inlet temperature of cold fluid. So Th naught is equal to Thi minus effectiveness into C minimum divided by Ch into Thi minus Tca. Only Th naught I have written. Now minus Tca. Similarly, in the denominator you have Thi. So that Thi is here. Tc naught I will replace from this. Tc naught is going to be Tci plus effectiveness into C minimum by Cc into Thi minus Tca. So I am replacing the Tc naught, Tci plus effectiveness into C minimum by Cc into Thi minus Tca is equal to right hand side is e raised to minus u into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. Now in this expression, we can group Thi minus Tci. So I will take this minus Tci here. So Thi minus Tci minus in the same term will be there. So Thi minus Tcl group. Here again Thi minus Tca is there. So that can be grouped. Remove the bracket, you get Thi minus Tca. So I will rewrite it. So Thi minus Tca. Here again Thi minus Tca is there. Denominator we have written Thi minus Tca minus effectiveness into C minimum by Cc. So I have written Thi minus Tca minus this term. Here again Thi minus Tca into this term is equal to right hand side. Now Thi minus Tca is common in this. Okay, that can be taken outside. You will get 1 minus this term, and here again 1 minus this term. Once you take it outside in the numerator and denominator, that will cancel out. You get 1 minus effectiveness into C minimum by Ch. Here again in the denominator 1 minus effectiveness into C minimum by Cc is equal to right hand side e raised to minus u into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. Now you can cross multiply this. 1 minus effectiveness into C minimum by Ch is equal to this denominator into this. So 1 minus effectiveness into C minimum by Cc into e raised to minus ua into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. Then I'll expand this. So if you expand this, you remove the bracket, you get e raised to minus ua into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc minus effectiveness into C minimum into Cc into e raised to minus ua into 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. Left hand side remains same. I just remove the bracket on right hand side. Remove the bracket on right hand side. So you got e raised to minus u into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc minus effectiveness into c minimum by cc into e raised to minus u into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc. Now from this you have to find out effectiveness. So this term you can take to the left hand side. Here effectiveness are involved in two terms. So here also one term is there, effectiveness. So those terms you have to group, and the other terms you can take to one side. So this you can take to the left hand side. You get 1 minus e raised to minus u into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc. Now this, when you take to the right hand side, you get plus effectiveness into c minimum by ch, and this term will remain same. Now here effectiveness you can take it outside. So written effectiveness is taken outside and written. Now you can solve for effectiveness. Effectiveness is the whole, this left hand side divided by this part will go to the denominator here. So effectiveness you can solve. So we got the expression for effectiveness after rearranging the terms. Now let us take CH as C minimum. In a heat exchanger there are two fluids. One is hot fluid, another one cold fluid. Out of these two fluids, any of these fluids should have a least heat capacity. Then other one will have maximum heat capacity. So either cold fluid or hot fluid will have minimum heat capacity. So let us assume one of the fluids as having minimum heat capacity. Then other fluid will have maximum heat capacity. Here I am assuming hot fluid is having minimum heat capacity. So taking CH as C minimum, you will get CC as C max. So I am replacing all CH by C minimum and CC as C max in this expression. So I replace all CH by C minimum and CC as C max. You get this expression. Here in the numerator, I take C minimum outside. So you get minus UA by C minimum into 1 minus C minimum by C max. And same thing will get here. C minimum is taken outside. So you get minus UA by C minimum into 1 minus C minimum by C max. And here C minimum by C minimum is 1. C minimum by C max. So this is the expression you are getting. Now we can replace UA by C minimum as NTU, as I have already mentioned in case of parallel flow heat exchanger. UA by C minimum is number of transfer units. NTU represents the size of the heat exchanger. So if you replace UA by C minimum by NTU and C minimum by C max, which is the heat capacity ratio of minimum to maximum heat capacity, that ratio if you represent by C. So this is represented by NTU, C minimum by C max is replaced by C, heat capacity ratio. So this will be replaced as C, this is NTU and this is C. So if you write C minimum by C max as C and UA by C minimum as NTU, you will get the expression 1 minus e raised to minus NTU into 1 minus C divided by 1 minus C into e raised to minus NTU into 1 minus C. So this is the expression for effectiveness of a counterflow heat exchanger. Now let us see the effectiveness of a condenser or evaporator when they work as a counterflow heat exchanger. As all of you know, in a condenser or evaporator, one of the fluid is undergoing phase change. When a fluid undergoes phase change, its heat capacity is infinity. So the fluid which is undergoing phase change will have an infinite heat capacity, and in that case, the ratio of C minimum to C max is going to be 0. Since C max is infinity, the other fluid will have finite value of heat capacity, but one of the fluid, either hot fluid or cold fluid, is undergoing phase change and it is having infinite heat capacity. So C minimum by C max is going to be 0. That is, heat capacity ratio C is 0 in case of an evaporator or condenser. So once C is 0, this term vanishes. Denominator will get only 1, and in the numerator, when this is C 0, you get 1 minus e raised to minus NTU. So effectiveness you will get as 1 minus e raised to minus NTU in case of an evaporator or condenser working as a counterflow heat exchanger. So when an evaporator or condenser, you will get effectiveness as 1 minus e raised to minus NTU. And we got the same expression for the condenser or evaporator when it works as a parallel flow heat exchanger also. The maximum value of effectiveness you can see from this expression for a condenser or evaporator when NTU tends to infinity. So this term vanishes, you will get the effectiveness as 1, which is 100%. So for a maximum possible effectiveness in case of a condenser or evaporator, you will get 100% or 1. Now in case of a gas turbine, you will have the heat capacity ratio. You have the heat capacity ratio C is equal to 1. and effectiveness of for a counterflow heat exchanger. So when gas turbine works as a counterflow heat exchanger, effectiveness expression is 1 minus e raised to minus NTU into 1 minus e divided by 1 minus e into e raised to minus NTU into 1 minus e. When you substitute c as 1, this term will become 0 and you will get e raised to 0, it's 1. So you get 1 minus 1 as 0 in the numerator. And when it is c is 1, this whole term will become e raised to 0, which is 1, and c is 1, so you get 1 minus 1 as 0. So in that case, you will get effectiveness as 0 by 0, which is not defined. So you cannot directly substitute c as 1 and find out the effectiveness in case of a counterflow heat exchanger. So you can rewrite this expression, modify these expressions. We can write it as 1 minus 1 by e raised to NTU into 1 minus c. And here again 1 minus c into 1 by e raised to NTU into 1 minus c. Now you can cross multiply e raised to NTU into 1 minus c minus 1 divided by e raised to NTU into 1 minus c. Here again e raised to NTU into 1 minus c minus c divided by same thing. So this will cancel it out in the numerator and denominator. Okay, so you get e raised to NTU into 1 minus c minus 1 divided by e raised to NTU into 1 minus c minus c. So you get effectiveness as e raised to NTU into 1 minus c minus 1 divided by e raised to NTU into 1 minus c minus c. Now e raised to x, how do you expand? 1 plus x square by 2 factorial plus x square by 3 factorial plus etc. So instead of x, we have NTU into 1 minus c. So e raised to x you expand as 1 plus x square by 2 factorial. In the same way, you can expand this term 1 plus NTU into 1 minus c plus that square of that NTU square into 1 minus c square by 2 factorial plus cube of that NTU cube into 1 minus c cube divided by 3 factorial plus etc. It's an infinite series. And last you have minus 1. Similarly, in the denominator also you can expand this in the same way 1 plus NTU into 1 minus c plus NTU square into 1 minus c square by 2 factorial plus etc. And in the last you have minus c. Now what I do is this plus 1 and this minus 1 I will cancel it. Okay, that is cancelled. Now 1 is in the denominator and here minus c is there, that I will group 1 minus c. I write in the denominator 1 and minus c, 1 minus c I will group. So you get 1 minus c plus the remaining terms you can write down. So it's an infinite series, it goes on. Now 1 minus c is there as a factor in all the terms. In the further terms also you will have 1 minus c. So first term to the last term you will have 1 minus c as a factor. Here again 1 minus c, for all the terms you have 1 minus c. So you can take 1 minus c outside, you get NTU plus NTU square into 1 minus c by 2 factorial plus NTU cube into 1 minus c square by 3 factorial plus etc. 1 minus c can be taken outside. Here again 1 minus c you can take outside. You get 1 plus NTU plus etc. So that's written here. So 1 minus c which is taken outside in the numerator and denominator, I will cancel it out. So what you get is NTU plus NTU square into 1 minus c by 2 factorial plus NTU cube. 1 minus c is cancelled, 1 minus c square by 3 factorial plus etc. In the denominator again 1 minus c you cancel, 1 plus NTU square into 1 minus c by 2 factorial plus NTU cube into 1 minus c square by 3 factorial plus etc. Now after getting this expression we can substitute c as, c is 1 for a gas turbine. So once you substitute c as 1, all the terms you will have 1 minus c factor. Okay, 1 minus c, next term you will have 1 minus c cube. So all these terms you have c1. So once you substitute c as 1, all these terms vanishes. In the denominator also all these terms vanishes. You get NTU by 1 plus NTU as the effectiveness. So you are getting, when c is 1, you are getting the effectiveness as NTU by 1 plus NTU. So this is the expression for effectiveness of a gas turbine when it works as a counterflow heat exchanger. So in this case, when NTU value increases, NTU divided by 1 plus NTU tends to 1. So suppose NTU is 1000, 1000 divided by 1 plus 1000, 1000 divided by 1000, 1. You will get nearly 1. So when NTU is too large, the effectiveness tends to 1 or 100%. So maximum possible effectiveness for a gas turbine is 1. So in case NTU is too large, it tends to 1. So maximum value of effectiveness tends to 1 when NTU is large. Thank you for watching.